Emirati and French military cooperation entered a new phase this week as both forces carried out the joint military exercise known as Gulf 25 at Hamra Camp in Abu Dhabi. The exercise, conducted once every 4 years, is designed to test operational coordination across land, air and maritime domains, while adapting to lessons drawn from recent regional conflicts and evolving security threats in the Middle East. The training unfolded across a wide operational terrain involving aircraft, armoured vehicles and infantry units from both nations. Early visuals from the exercise showed United Arab Emirates Air Force helicopters manoeuvring over the desert training grounds, followed by coordinated movements from Emirati armoured units positioned across strategic sectors of the Al Hamra training zone. French and Emirati personnel were seen carrying out joint manoeuvres, standing side by side as they progressed through the multi-domain scenarios planned for this year's iteration. Helicopter formations, armoured columns and ground units were deployed in parallel as both militaries simulated battlefield conditions that reflect contemporary conflict environments. The footage showed repeated air-to-ground coordination activities, including transport helicopter overflights and infantry staging drills. Additional segments of the exercise highlighted Emirati armoured vehicles advancing across open terrain and both forces synchronising positions as part of combined training modules. The Chief of the French Defence Staff, General Fabien Mandon, observed the field exercises on site. Visuals captured him monitoring the drills closely as units moved across the training area. He was later seen together with Issa Al-Mazrouei, Chief of Staff of the UAE Armed Forces, during the group photograph marking the conclusion of the joint field operations. French and Emirati soldiers were also photographed together beneath the official banner of the Gulf 25 exercise, underscoring the long-standing defence partnership between the two countries. A key voice during the event was Fabrice, a French Lieutenant Colonel participating in the exercise, who explained the operational scope and strategic intent guiding Gulf 25. He described the exercise as a long-standing bilateral commitment designed to maintain readiness and enhance interoperability between the two forces. In his words, the Gulf exercise is a French-Emirati exercise that takes place every 4 years. It is an exercise conducted across all domains, land, air, sea. Its objective is to strengthen our ability to work together and to demonstrate that we are capable of doing so. The Lieutenant Colonel emphasised that France maintains a substantial permanent military presence in the United Arab Emirates. He stated that this presence is anchored in a broader strategic cooperation framework shared by the two countries, one that is grounded in a common understanding of regional security dynamics. As he explained, today, on a permanent basis, we have approximately 900 military personnel deployed here, an air base, a regiment and a headquarters that are permanently stationed in the United Arab Emirates. This presence is part of the broader cooperation between our two countries, which is based on a shared understanding of the security challenges in the Middle East. This year's exercise was structured around operational scenarios, shaped directly by lessons drawn from recent conflicts across the region. These included the increasing relevance of unmanned aerial systems, long-range strike capabilities and hybrid threats that have become common features of modern warfare in the Middle East. Fabrice detailed how specific threat patterns and tactics from real conflicts were integrated into the simulations in order to maintain realism and operational value. He said the exercise obviously draws on the lessons learned from the most recent conflicts in the region. That is to say, in our scenario, we have included drone attacks, ballistic missile strikes, and of course we study the surrounding conflicts to make our scenarios as current and realistic as possible. Throughout the training cycle, both forces worked through scenarios designed to test the integration of air and ground units under simulated attack conditions. These included drills involving rapid repositioning, defensive coordination, and responses to notional drone and ballistic missile threats. Footage showed personnel adjusting formations, establishing fortified lines, and coordinating under simulated pressure as part of cross-domain interoperability exercises. The exercise also highlighted the broader strategic dimension of French-Emirati defence ties. France's permanent military deployment in the UAE includes an air base, ground forces and command infrastructure, which together provide both a forward presence and a platform for ongoing bilateral cooperation. According to French officials, this presence is intended to contribute to regional stability and to maintain the capacity for joint operations in response to emerging threats. The Emirati military's participation demonstrated its continued focus on strengthening alliances and enhancing training partnerships with international counterparts. Over the past decade, the UAE has expanded its defence engagements with several allied nations, emphasising joint exercises that build operational readiness and support shared security priorities in the Gulf region. Gulf 25 represents one of the longest-running bilateral exercises in this relationship, continuing a pattern of close military interaction between the two countries. Visuals from the training site throughout the exercise depicted French and Emirati personnel coordinating movements, conducting briefings, and executing tactical sequences. Soldiers were shown manoeuvring through open terrain drills, establishing forward positions, and integrating with mechanized units as part of combined operations. These activities illustrated the scale and depth of the coordination expected from both forces in a contemporary joint environment. The inclusion of realistic threat simulations such as drone incursions and ballistic missile launches reflects evolving security concerns in the wider region. Recent conflicts have demonstrated how rapidly these technologies have shaped battlefield conditions, forcing militaries to adapt both defensive and offensive strategies. The French Lieutenant Colonel's remarks made clear that incorporating these elements was essential for ensuring that the exercise remained relevant and operationally credible. The tactical scenarios deployed in Gulf 25 required units to respond to fast-moving aerial threats, manage coordinated ground advances, and maintain communication links across dispersed formations. The exercise also provided a testing environment for command and control structures, allowing senior leadership from both forces to evaluate how joint decisions translate into field operations. A notable feature of this year's exercise was the emphasis on multi-domain integration. The training involved synchronized operations across air, land and sea components, replicating complex conditions that could arise in potential real-world contingencies in the Middle East. As described by participating officers, this structure ensures that both militaries maintain readiness to operate together across all operational theatres. French officers present at the site emphasised that joint training in the Gulf region carries broader strategic implications. France's permanent base in the UAE, alongside its ground and command elements, forms part of a long-term policy to maintain stability and contribute to regional security cooperation. The UAE likewise has positioned itself as a key defence partner for European and Western militaries conducting operations or maintaining strategic presence in the Gulf. The closing phase of the exercise included joint photographs featuring senior commanders and personnel from both sides. The banner and logo of Gulf 25 were displayed prominently, signalling the conclusion of another cycle in a bilateral training series that has been ongoing for more than a decade. With evolving security challenges in the Middle East, both France and the United Arab Emirates continue to emphasize the importance of coordinated defense strategies and combined operational capabilities. Exercises such as Gulf 25 remain central to their efforts to maintain preparedness, deepen interoperability, and adapt to emerging threats drawn from recent conflict environments. The exercise concluded with a demonstration of the multinational coordination capacities both sides intend to strengthen in the coming years. As articulated by participating officers, the training served not only to reaffirm operational ties, but also to ensure that both forces remain capable of responding jointly to security challenges that continue to evolve across the region. The latest iteration of Gulf 25 therefore stands as part of the ongoing defence partnership between the United Arab Emirates and France, anchored in shared assessments of regional risks and a sustained commitment to joint readiness. Both nations maintain that their cooperation will continue to play a role in addressing security concerns in the Gulf and supporting broader regional stability. The joint military exercise has now concluded, with both forces reaffirming their ability to operate together under complex, multi-domain conditions reflective of current conflict realities. This concludes the available information on the French-Emirati Gulf 25 joint military exercise.